Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another video. So it's been a while since I've done one of these build orders, and I figured it's about time I make a new one. In today's video, we're going to go over the Korean Tower Rush, specifically the really fast uptime, the 19 pop Korean Trush. So before I get started, I just want to say that this is not something I'd encourage you guys to do if you're trying to get better at the game. However, with certain civs like Koreans, where the civ has 4 or 5 civ bonuses geared towards this one strategy, if you get this in a random civ 1v1 game, I wouldn't knock you guys for going for this tower strategy. I just will say that don't get used to it. It's not good for improving. I would rather you guys stick with men at arms, scouts, or like more normal strategies. However, this is a fun one, and it's quite effective, especially with the Civ. So before we start with the actual tutorial, I'm just going to go over a quick notepad that I made. This is in the Discord for subs. However, I'll go over it on this video as well. Basically, this is a 19 pop Korean Tower Rush, and it starts with a very weird Dark Age. So in Dark Age, you're going to go standard stuff, 6 on sheep after making your first 2 houses, and then you're going to go only 2 to wood. So this is very unconventional. Normally you'll see 3 to wood or 4 to wood in the case of the men-at-arms or the drush. But in this case, you don't need to make a barracks or even a stable or archery range, so you only need 2 to wood. Next villager will get the boar, and then after that, you're going to do 2 more to the boar under the TC. If the boar is not yet under the TC, just let them take some sheep while it comes in. And then the next villager after that will make a house and make a mill. I'll show you in the tutorial that this happens, at perfect timing. Then the one after that will get the second boar. And then after that, it's very simple. You're just going to go and send the rest of the vills to boar and sheep under the TC. And I have in bracket here, take as many as you need because, there's no point of saving sheep for later. You want to use them all in the Dark Age and get up really, really fast because after that, you're going to send all your villagers forward anyways. Then once you get to 19 pop, you're going to click Loom, and then after that, click up to Feudal Age. On the way up, it's important that we act fast. We're going to have to send the 5 villagers from sheep onto stone, and then send 2 more to wood ASAP. Then you're going to send 6 vills forward, and then leave the remaining 2 on sheep. In this position, you're going to have 4 on wood, 5 on stone, 1 on berries, 2 on sheep, and 6 forward. It's very important that you only have 2 on sheep, that you have the 2 on sheep and not like on wood or something, because you're going to need some food to keep villager production at the start of feudal age. All right, when we actually get to the feudal age, you want to again act fast because we went up really fast and we have to make use of that opportunity. We're going to drop 2 towers on the most important area of the opponent's space. That's a little bit easier to show in practice, but this basically means like any stones you want to take away, any golds or wood lines or berries, pretty much anything that could hinder your opponent. Try to locate the most important area and tower there. Build 1 tower with 5 villagers and the second tower with 1 vill. This is a little bit easier to show in a demonstration once again, but basically what I mean by that is you want to do a very conservative tower. Well, not too conservative, semi-aggressive, but still out of sight of your opponent with 5 villagers. Then with the second tower, purposely make it very aggressive, even in sight of your opponent. Let him see the tower. Basically what this does is he's going to react to the 1 villager building the tower and might attack it with, a few villagers. When he does that, what he won't realize is that you have another tower uh, that just went up with 5 vills inside garrison. So if he commits to attacking the 1 vill tower rushing, he will get a nasty surprise with that tower that comes up with 5 vills inside it. Again, I'll highlight this point when I show you guys the build order. So that's what you're going to do at your opponent's base. At home, you're going to send vills to berries from the town center. Notice you're not going to have the economy to make any farms, and you're not going to have any sheep left at this point. So just send the vills to the berries, and then after that, you just have to work on managing your economy to be able to afford constant vill production and tower production. Now, towers cost a little bit of wood and a lot of stone, but you won't need to add more than 5 vills on stone at any point of the feudal age. So don't worry about too much about that. It's really just about balancing your wood and food economy at this point. Your first and major objective here in this builder, and why it's so easy to pull off once you get accustomed to it, is you don't need any eco upgrades. You just need vill production, and then you want to get a blacksmith and get fletching as soon as possible. Once you get that, you've basically done all you need to do in the feudal age for the most part. 9 range towers are super annoying to deal with, and so fletching rushed is the best thing you could be doing. After you do get the fletching, though, that it really depends on a game to game basis, but you have a couple options. You can either add in a stable or some ranges and add some feudal army, or you can just tower up your base and save up for castle age. Both are viable. It just depends on what fits your style. In castle age, you have another couple choices here. You can either continue the push with a forward castle drop or a monk and siege push, or you can just sit back and go for a 2 or 3 extra TC boom. And so basically the idea there is that while your opponent is busy clearing your towers, you're getting a nice and peaceful boom back home. Again, both these strategies work. It just depends on what suits your style after a tower rush. But yeah, enough of the boring part. Let's hop right into the tutorial. So again, I have it on all visible here just to be able to get off to a clean start and show you guys, what you need to look for when scouting your opponent and how you want to lay out your base as well. All right, so I have done nothing here. I'm going to unpause and play it like a regular game. First step is to obviously make your 2 houses. And then I'm going to go get our sheep. Perfect stuff. Alright, 60 sheep right away is very standard. And then you want to just scout your map and find the extra resources. Obviously in my case here, it's first the AI and it's all visible. So I have everything laid out for me. I will not lure any deer. And there's a couple reasons for this. The first reason is not all maps will have deer that are lurable. Sometimes they're behind a forest. So, just finding builders that use no deer makes for more consistent practice. And also, you don't even need them. You're going to have so much food with the sheep and boar that you'll realize you don't actually need any deer. And it adds very close to nothing to the builder. So after 6 on a sheep, you're going to go find your closest woodline and send 2 vills to it. Remember, you don't need necessarily the best woodline, you just need the closest one, the one that's easiest to protect, because you're only sending 2 vills to it, so it's not going to run out anytime soon. Once you found all your resources at home, feel free to scout your opponent, and again, in my case, I'm not going to do it because it's all visible, but I will point out some of the things to look for when scouting. Alright, so after I got my 2 vills onto the wood, let's go ahead and get the boar now. Yeah, I got one boar here and a boar here. Alright, so notice that normally I'd have sent this villager to wood, and then the one after it will go to boar. Since I didn't send the third to wood, I'm going to have an extra vill here to send to the sheep. And that's basically the whole point of the builder. Sacrifice a little bit of early wood, trade it for a little bit more early food, and click up really, really fast. Most players, if they're even going scouts, they will click up 20 pop scouts, so it's going to be even slower than your 19 pop tower rush. Again, you're going to have so much boar and sheep that feel free to split up your vills. It doesn't really matter what you take, as long as they're working properly under your TC. Alright, it's important that this villager makes the house now. Again, it's very logical, 12 out of 15. The vill will come out, it's 13 out of 15. That's your cue to make a house. And then you guys are going to notice, after the house is done, you're going to be able to afford a mill to make the berries. That's why I recommend to make the house near the berries, so that one villager can do both tasks at once. While this girl is making the house and then the mill, for the berries, another villager will go ahead and get our second boar, and we'll carry on with our builder. There we go, and then after that, vills just go from the TC straight onto the boar and sheep under our town center as well. Alright, cool. Again, don't be shy to take multiple animals under TC at once. It doesn't really matter. I can't stress this enough, because you're gonna have so much food anyway that it's really, really not gonna matter where your vills are taking food from. As long as you're not using the berries. Notice how we're not even gonna use the berries. We're gonna keep just one villager there because we needed to build the mill. Alright, at this point, you're going to be scouting your opponent, and what you need to look for. You need to look for places where you can build your towers, more specifically your initial towers. So I'm noticing a forward gold on this particular map, a woodland that I could probably hit, and berries are a little bit more defensive, so I probably won't worry about those for the time being. So my plan of attack will be to attack on this hill, taking away the main gold, another gold, the woodline, and a stone. So this is a perfect place to attack, and that's exactly what you want to look for when you're scouting your opponent in a real game. Alright, I'm getting close to 19 pop here. Again, taking sheep and boar. I'm going to go for loom. And then after that, you're going to see it's actually not that tight a build order. You're going to have something like 575 food. And you're going to be able to easily click up to the next age. Right, going to wait till loom is almost done. Going to garrison them all up. There we go. And again, 547. And you get the idea though. It's not tight at all. And we're going to go ahead and redistribute our villagers now. So 5 vills will go to stone. Another 2 to the woodline, and then I'm going to send 6 forward. Make sure to send your healthiest vills forward. It's just good practice, and it helps in case a vill fight breaks out. So again, if a couple of them are hurt, it's no big deal. Make sure most are healthy though. Never quite sure how to make these mining camps, but I think that one looks pretty good. And so again, this is the head count for the villagers. You have 5 taking stone, 4 taking wood, 1 taking berries, and 2 on a sheep. When the sheep run out, you just take chocolate trees, no problem. Or send them to berries, up to you. But anyways, the vill's going forward. Again, I'm going to head to my spot that I'm going to hit. Again, you really determine the spot in Dark Age if possible. If not, with the Korean line of sight, you should be able to spot it in Feudal Age anyways. And notice that I'm going to arrive there a little bit earlier. I know on this map I'm a bit closer, but even if it was further, you usually get there a little bit earlier. But that's perfect, because now you can build a house, and you actually really needed that house to get a little bit more pop space and be able to make those villas in Feudal Age. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about with the aggressive tower and the conservative tower. I'm going to show you in a second where I'm going to place them. So I'm going to place with 5 villagers a conservative tower just to lock down the position, and with the other one I'm going to purposely go in his line of sight with that one villager. I'll show you guys where I'm going to place them. Probably one up here with 5 villagers, and then one really close here with 1 villager. Alright, let's go ahead and show you how I'm going to go about this. Make sure to start with the 5 villager one, the conservative tower, just to have a plan B in case he does vill rush the 1 villager. So there it is, the conservative tower. And then the other tower, make sure it's in range of the conservative tower, but very aggressive. There it is. You could even try and like wall in your vill, do any kind of shenanigan you can. If he reacts to this now and send vills, obviously this is a computer, he's not reacting. But if he does react to it, you will have this tower that came up. So let's say he's got vills around you here. You have this tower now, and then when it comes up, you can. Oh, sorry, I messed up there. But you can wall up the base, and then protect this tower, and then you have this tower coming up as well. So that's basically how the tower rush happens initially, and then after the first towers are up, you just continue your tower train. Vills coming up from your TC will go to berries, and then these guys will go to lone wood, no problem. Right. There we go, and he's actually going to attack me. Again, computer is pretty dumb when it comes to tower rush, but basically, you get the gist of it. After this, it's very, very simple. Go ahead and continue your tower chain, and your towers will protect one another very, very nicely. Again, don't be afraid of walling your vills when you're building the tower. It's very effective. Cool, now at home, you basically want to just fix up your economy at this point. Again, don't forget to build houses. I usually like to make houses at the base of my towers, because it does 2 things. It makes the house, and also defends the base. And then at this point, you really want to just balance up your wood and food economy. You can see a couple farms and get ready to make that blacksmith and afford fletching. Okay, cool. Again, the computer reacting to this is very, very sloppy stuff. But even in a real game, sometimes they struggle to defend a tower rush this fast, especially at the lower or intermediate level. Cool. The one thing I will say is make sure you wall up the base of your tower, and keep your towers guarding in range of one another, so they're able to guard the bases as well. That's pretty much the only thing to worry about when going for the tower rush. Alright, once you get a few farms down, you get enough to sustain villager production. Send some to wood and save up for that blacksmith, and then after that fletching. And then that's pretty much where the build ends. That's where the tower rush is very successful. Notice I've got plenty of stone and wood to continue tower rushing here, and I've got enough farms and berry villagers to maintain build production. This builder is so strong because it's fast, it's aggressive, but also has a decent economy at home with constant village production the whole way through. And so I'm just gonna play this out until I'm able to actually get to my my blacksmith and get fletching, and then I'll just call it here, because after that it really depends on a game-to-game basis. Alright, cool. Remember to make that house. Again, if you do this perfectly, you'll never get house, you'll never have idle TC, and you'll just have a chain of towers that are very, very annoying to deal with, as well as a decent economy at home to back it all up. If you're scared of scouts, what you could do is wall up your stone villagers like this, and that way his scouts won't do anything. So that's a nice and little, neat tip that really helps out in the early game defense. Once you get the blacksmith, the next objective is really just to get fletching. Notice I don't have any eco upgrades. This is perfectly fine. In fact, it's good, because now look what we have: a 14-minute fletching click and a tower chain that's very deadly. So anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this build order. Fletching by 14 minutes is pretty ambitious and probably won't happen in a real game. Obviously, this is versus AI, and I'm doing a perfect build. In your games, if you get around 15 minutes, 16 minutes, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure that it's your first objective after you get a constant villager production at home. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this build order. I hope you enjoyed this tower rush. Once again, it's not good to do this very often, but it's good to have it in your back pocket in case you do get Koreans off of a random civ in those rated games. Anyways, that's it for this video. Take care and have a nice day. Peace.